So we had this bug 168 here that, well, we had been on the road to fixing bug 168 before, and the earlier stream today was all about refactoring part of the compiler that was troublesome and getting in the way of solving bug 168. That apparently wasn't the only problem with bug 168. I'm pretty sure I know what the other problem is. It has to do with things not yielding properly when they can't do full type inference yet. So, oh, this desk shakes a lot. I wonder if that's going to mess with the eye tracker. I don't know, man. Anyway, let's just look at where it crashes. I'm pretty sure we looked at the end of the last stream, but oh. Yeah, I never noticed before how much my monitor shakes on this monitor arm. I hope that doesn't destroy the tracker. What model of eye tracker? It is a Tobii 4C eye tracker. I don't know if there's a better one for me to be using. This is a new experiment. Yeah, the tracking is kind of okay. It's just I've noticed that it jumps around sometimes when my eyes aren't actually moving. There's some noise in the tracking, and it's filtering it, and it's, trying to figure it out. Okay. So let's crash it. Let's crash it. No, do we have a... Didn't crash. Okay, are we not... Are we failing to run? Somehow, like I mistyped. Let's put this in C explicitly. Examples, compiler bugs, bug 168. I think that should work. Let's delete all these breakpoints though. Thanks for... Software is terrible. Yeah, it's not... I probably messed something up because I otherwise have no idea. Okay, since I froze here, it built it. Now I don't understand. Am I running an old... Oh, I'm not running with no jobs. Okay, interesting. If I do run, okay. That's not that surprising, actually. So no jobs is a thing where we say, don't compile things in a threaded fashion because we want greater reproducibility for debugging. And in that order, it so happens that everything works out right. But if you let things run in random order, something's not ready and something else expects it to be ready. But we have, oh, I'm not used to this. So when I Alt-Tab, like the eye tracker lets me pick windows, which is honestly seems like a good idea. Yeah. So now I forgot what I was doing because I was just getting excited moving around between all the windows. Let's close Steam. No reason for that to be open. Oh yeah, I want to go refresh my familiarity with the arguments. So we handled the arguments. So we have this randomize and seed stuff. So what I can do is I can run with no jobs and with randomize. And that'll perturb the eye tracker did me there. That'll perturb the order. There we go. So now, let's see if we can find one where it does work. No, it's failing on all these seeds, right? But see how it's giving me a different seed every time? I can run it again and I can say dash seed, whatever this first one was, 270, right? And it'll seed the random number generator with the same thing every time. And so we can go into the debugger now, right? Actually, I don't think I need to say dash randomize if I say dash seed. Yeah, because we set randomize here. So I just say dash seed, was it 270 or 210? 270, all right. So now, I'm going to rerun and it should barf. There we go. Hooray for reproducibility. This eye tracker, it kind of looks like a Wiimote sensor bar, but like a bigger version of it. And if you go on their website, they have older versions of the thing that were much bigger and beefier. So the technology must have evolved substantially. The y-axis fixed itself magically. The y is a little low. Okay, I don't know. I don't know, man. I tried calibrating it a couple times, and I don't know. I have a feeling the monitor that I'm using is at the upper end of what they really support. But yeah, hopefully it'll at least give you the vague idea of what I'm looking at and make the stream more interactive. Hopefully it's not. Let me know if it seems more distracting than informative, right? Maybe sometimes if you're just trying to look at code and there's this thing flying all over the place, then maybe that doesn't help. I don't know. Okay, so this has to do with that force infer struct action, and I bet it's again, if I look at, so this procedure call is not actually a procedure call, it's actually a struct instantiation. But I recently, changed the compiler so that it uses the same data structure. And we can look at where that is. So it's line 59 of bucket array, right? I got to remember, I don't necessarily have to point with the mouse pointer anymore. So bucket array, line 59. Eye tracker, okay. The thing is, it's slow enough to do that I can't, it's not quite as nice. Okay. Line 59, is that what I said? Yeah. So what's happening is we're doing bucket array add, and so we're making a polymorphed version of bucket array, and a bucket array itself has this my bucket, which is a type, and this type is not yet inferred, and for some reason I want to look at why it thinks it can't infer right now. Because I thought that my hack workaround that we put in would have done this, but maybe it doesn't. So I want to set a breakpoint here for this procedure call only, right? So it's this number, so we'll say any questions about that? Yeah, I don't think there are that many video options on this Streaming Gaze overlay. Maybe I should make one. I should, because they have an SDK on their site somewhere, I think. So maybe I'll make a project that makes a more advanced eye tracker viewer. It's probably not that hard. That'd be fun. Yeah, I'll show you guys the options that it gives me, right? So, well, what's shape heat map? Whoa. Okay, that's going to be bananas. It's probably not good. So view overlay is drawing it on my desktop so I can see it. So you might be getting double because of OBS and my desktop. But yeah, this is just bananas. Okay. And then, you know, solid, which might be easier to see, but it feels like it's going to cover text too much. I don't know. I could try solid if you guys think it'll be good, but yeah. And that's really it. It's that plus color and alpha. So solid looks much better. Really? Maybe a smaller solid. Like this? Does everybody feel okay about this? I don't know if it's double dark for you when I'm seeing it. So here we go. Does everybody feel okay about this that you're looking at right now? Is this better or worse than what it was doing before? Is this live? Yes, this is live. Too distracting, says one person. A lot of people are saying it's better. How about on a light background window? Is that seeable? All right. Well, enough people seem to be happy with it that we'll continue. Looks like Gish. Okay. So, I'm just having fun looking around the screen at things. Okay. So someone asked what the force and first structs thing is. Force and first structs is a way of saying, okay, I know this thing, this struct that we're making may have substructs and all that. And substructs, you know, the way, or structs in general, the way the compiler treats them is they sort of get their types of all their members, which are required to know the complete type of the whole struct. That all happens like on its own time because it may need for other things to be ready and whatever, right? And the theory, though, is that if you're ready to polymorph a struct, then you obviously know what the parameters are, and you obviously know what the struct definition is, the polymorphic definition of it is. So you should probably be able to just cook it all in one go without having to like wait a while for it to flow through the compiler, right? Now, actually, that's not completely right because, for example, you might have a body text directive on that struct, in which case there's no way you're going to know what it generates, and you may have to block on something. So this is supposed to be optional. When I type this in, I asserted that it succeeds because I just wanted to be done with it, but apparently that doesn't succeed for everything. So I can do a thing where this is a two-stage process. And in fact, I did that at work today and then didn't check it in, but you know, it wasn't done, so whatever. So I just want to look for a second at why this fails and then see if it's easier to fix that. Well, I mean, this needs to yield if can continue as false no matter what. But I just want to see what happens. I'm just educating myself here. So this just makes the new struct. It doesn't try to infer types on it at all yet. Okay. So we yielded right away. Well, I don't know. We could, let's see what we yielded on. Oh, it's that. It's the same thing we were looking at last stream. Let's just step into that. I'm setting a breakpoint and we're going to rerun. Okay, there we go. So we're going to step in. We do all this stuff. Whoa, that was faster than I expected. Maybe I didn't step down into something. Oh, the very first thing in the constants block of the source struct is not ready. So bucket array has a member in the constants block called type. Oh, because it's not. Okay, it's bound to an identifier. Let's verify this. It's bound to an identifier called, well, not bound to, the type of it is an identifier called type, right, which is the fundamental thing. So that's correct. It doesn't have a value. But it's queued. This, I think this is old. Like, why is this queued? So being queued means that you're in this asynchronous process of, you know, people get to you when they get to you. And I don't exactly know why it was queued. Let's look. So this guy is the original struct. He wasn't polymorphed from anybody or anything like that. So his constants block entries certainly shouldn't be queued because they're not anything yet. So let's find out when that happens. So now this at this point is not necessarily the original problem we were looking at. Like we may fix this. Well, if we fix this, we still have to fix that can continue. So I'm going to write it down just so I don't forget it. However, whenever you see something wrong, or even maybe this isn't wrong, and I'm just not thinking now of why it's right, but I want to either educate myself or fix it. Why are salaries low in the game industry compared to general software? Because a lot of people want to work on games because it's cool. Do I think a sufficiently precise eye tracker will eventually change how we edit code? I've thought about making an editor, or at least an editor plugin that makes heavy use of eye tracking, but not very seriously. How do you click with the tracker? Well, I don't know. I mean, you could bind something to click. I am not using it to click. It's just for informational purposes here. The yield macro just sets a value and returns false, right? It's not any kind of weird fiber thing. It just sets a value that says like, hey, here's what we're waiting for. Call us back when this thing is ready, and then returns false. You think you noticed a mistake I made in this procedure call last stream? In which... Oh. Yes, you're correct. Thank you. Well, let's fix that. Let's fix that. Okay. I apparently was not paying enough attention. So yeah, I just pasted and went for it, and search and replace. Yeah, this is correct what you have here. Thank you. You actually understood what I was doing and said, hey, that doesn't look right. You may be the only person watching the stream who understood what I was doing. Yeah, the yellow dot is not my cursor. This is my mouse cursor right here. The yellow dot is an eye tracker. Okay. Well, I'm almost out of tea already. This is bad news. Okay. So, QUDs have also a serial number on them, right? And so I can check when things get queued, and I'll say condition that. I hope I didn't change the numbers by doing that. We'll find out. It's possible that I did. Okay. Well, okay. When we make right, they're in the arguments block. When we parse the struct, they're not in the constants block. Okay, right. So that starts to make sense to me. So let's look at this. Dude, none of this is ready. What? Okay. The procedure expression is just an ident. Well, okay. Let's look at that. Okay, it got resolved, so that's fine. It got resolved to a declaration whose expression is a struct. Okay, that's correct. So let's look at this. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. It's got okay. Right, I was being a little confused. Okay, so for procedures, procedures have an arguments block, and then when things get baked, they are moved from the arguments block into a thing called the constants block. For structs right now, the arguments block and the constants block are the same thing because there's no such thing as a struct argument that's not a constant. Here we are at the time before we bound any of these things, but we need to queue the arguments because because their types can be arbitrarily complex expressions that need to be resolved. The for macro is not that interesting. No, we haven't done the limited release yet. Nope, nope, nope. Okay. Why would we need to compile to C to support mobile? That's not right. You guys are so curious about the for macro. It's that. It's not very interesting. The reason it's that way is because, before C++11 features or whatever, it used to be a more involved macro, and now it's not. Yeah, it's really not the most sophisticated engineering happening in this project, I'll tell you that. Okay. So since the struct arguments are not inferred, the struct itself is not inferred for sure. So this is maybe do autopoly. We're not even where I thought we were. Okay. Yeah, okay. This is obviously not going to be, the arguments are not going to be inferred because we just added them. We just added them right here. Oh, we did say infer types on subarg though. So okay, see, we're doing funny things. The types are probably inferred, but the system doesn't know that. They haven't flowed through the pipes, and we are checking the pipes. So okay, it's not. Okay, the infer did not succeed, I think. So we go here. Oh no, that's in the argument list, not the struct. What am I even talking about? I didn't infer the... Okay. Let's run this again. Here. Okay, this struct thinks it's out of the infer pipe. It says it exited the inferred pipe. That's what's confusing. But in its arguments block, right? So the first argument is in the infer pipe. You should not be able to exit the infer pipe if your arguments are still in it. That's just not okay, I don't think. Unless... No, I don't think that should be okay under any means. Well, let's go look at... We parse a struct. We get arguments. Yeah, so we want to depend on the struct's header needs to wait on queued in order to infer. That is for sure. Because you can't, if you don't know the type of the argument, what are you going to do? Now, I'm confused because if this dependency weren't there, I feel like a lot more things would break, but sometimes you can be surprised by how well your program works. I want to just run the release build on some big stuff like Sokomon. Sometimes if you add a dependency like that and it's wrong, you can like deadlock a lot of things and they won't compile. So let's go checking these things. Okay, yeah, that didn't do. Okay, this eye tracker thing, I have to turn that off because it's slow. It's slow and annoying. Okay. See, it's using it on these menus and it's not. No, I don't want that. Yeah, if this worked more snappily, I would do it, but yeah. All right. It does only output to stream. I can't see the eye tracker. I don't know where the eye tracker is at any given time. I'm just looking at the screen. Only you can see the eye tracker. Okay. I'm starting to get a little tired, so we may not fix this tonight. I'm just educating myself for now about how this works. It's about my bedtime. Okay, what was I even doing? I was saying I was going to Alt-Tab to something and then got distracted. Oh, I was saying, oh man, that dependency totally broke Sokoban. Let's get rid of it for a second. And then make sure that it compiles again. Okay. And we'll unget rid of it. And make sure we crash a couple times in a row. Yeah. Okay, so that dependency is really causing a problem. I do not really know why. I could start debugging that, but that would take us on a little bit of a sidetrack from what I'm actually debugging, but sometimes you need to do that. Like sometimes if there's multiple problems, you need to confront those problems. But I want to see what happens when we flatten a struct. Oh, we do. Okay. We flatten the constants block, which means that's a different way of depending. And it's also why we die, because I think we flatten the constants block. Why then are we queuing the stuff in the constants? Can we get by without queuing the stuff in the constants block? Wait, queue this because we wait on our members. So if our members wait on these parameters, okay, that's a good reason. Do we wait on our members anymore, though? I guess we do. Structs plus out of order compilation or orderless compilation start getting complicated. I'm not going to need this printf anymore. I don't know why that's there. Well, we still shouldn't, because those guys are queued and we're flattening them, we should can't be set. Fine. Identifier call is undefined. Okay. Stupid Windows sound. Okay. Well. Why is it undefined? It's defined. Visual Studio. Oh, maybe I changed. We're running release build. That's why it's not defined. Who are we talking about? Okay, so let's... This guy is in pipe size, which means he passed pipe infer. He or she has a constants block somewhere here in all this stuff. Constants block. It's got two members. First one is queued. I clicked the wrong thing. Still in pipe infer. Okay, so this guy's queued. When we flattened it, okay, I'm confused by this. Because when we did flatten for a struct, we flattened the constants block. Maybe that doesn't do anything. We go over members. And we flatten the members. Let's just look into that. Okay, constants block. Oh, it's not, it's called constants block, but the block type is not block constants. The block type is block struct arguments. And I think that's just an error of omission. Confusing variable names will bite you sometimes. Maybe I need to do more of a harmonization there. So now if we step in, there we go. Okay. Abort has been called. Okay, so we're still breaking here. So we'll go back to this. Wait, do we? So now let's look. So now we are still in pipe infer. So now we're going to yield earlier, but that's okay. That's okay. That is good. And you know what? Now this makes sense to me. And so I'm going to leave it there because the next step, now that this actually makes sense what's happening, the next step is to deal with the need to yield properly. Because like I said a while ago, it's not necessarily a bug that we're yielding. Like we might need to yield for sure in various circumstances. So instead of asserting can continue, we're going to have to like handle the case when this is false and be reentrant and stuff. We'll do that next stream because I'm too tired to do something that important right now, but I'll probably do it in the morning. Is there anyone in the company who mainly works on Linux compiler? Joshua, probably, and I think Abner uses Linux version more than Windows, but I'm not sure. Any final questions before? Is the constants block the constant reference argument stroke? Yeah, the constants block is basically, if we go to bucket array, it's this thing right here, right? Those things, they're not allowed to vary at runtime, right? Because you essentially, they're like template parameters in C++, right? So the type gets fixed, and the values of whatever type it is and however many items per bucket, those just live in some scope where they never change. And that's what the constants block is for the struct. Someone rejects pull requests if any function is longer than 10 lines. That's kind of bananas. Is func type, arrow func type possible? I want to do this in a program I'm working on. It's very easy. Well, func type, I don't know what you mean exactly. If func type is the name of the procedure, then you're returning a name and not a type. You'd have to be more clear about what you're asking there. With this new game, it would be similar to Steven's sausage roll in terms of complexity. Well, I don't know how to answer that. There's going to be a lot of interesting material in the game. It'll be more accessible than Steven's sausage roll in a lot of ways because you won't be forced. Like in Steven's sausage roll, there's these bottlenecks where if you can't complete everything in a certain world, you're stuck, right? And this game is not like that. So when there are hard puzzles, you'll be okay not solving them. And you can go play the rest of the game and maybe get more experience at certain kinds of situations and then be able to go attack the hard puzzles when you have more experience. In terms of, is it going to be more hard or less hard on average? It's probably easier on average, but there's some hard stuff in it for sure. You want functions that return functions of the same type. You would have to, you could certainly do that, but you would have to define the type separately outside the procedure. Because otherwise the return type is part of the type and you're like trying to refer to an incomplete type. But if you had, if you declared a procedure type or you had another procedure at the two of the same type that you want, oh, it's probably not possible. I'd have to think about it. Syntactically, you might be able to do that with metaprogramming. I don't know if you can do that syntactically. I don't know. I'm too tired to think about it clearly. All right. Thanks everybody for stopping by, and we'll do another stream tomorrow. See ya.